Hi there. I've decided that I might have a bit of a problem with houses quilts. I call this video is about my housing projects. I do like to make quilts apparently that have houses in them, and I've noticed now that a lot of the quilts have the same type of houses in them. This is an older quilt, and I don't have it up often. In fact, I hadn't had it out for a long time and thought, I'll see what this looks like. This is the first house quilt I believe that I made. I wanted it to look like a scrapbook, the old-fashioned kind where you had the corners, and so each of the houses would be in the scrapbook. So this is called my scrapbook houses. I made this in 2009, so it's kind of old, and I noticed I like it and all. The fabrics definitely are more dated for me of something that I would have made in 2009. I do think that I like this style of house for some reason. This is one that I've used a lot, and I seem to like it. It allows you to use different, at least 2 or 3 different colors or fabrics per house. I also like the fact that when I did this, I did not want to have just houses on top of houses, so I added some flying geese, some stars, some other blocks inside just to give it a little something different to look at. When you do that kind of thing, you do have to make sure that your blocks are going to fit in nicely. Sometimes you may have to use a strip in between, like a coping strip, so that you have some space. I think these are probably maybe 6-inch blocks finished, and so they needed a little strip down here and a little strip up here to separate them from the house block. Finally, I wanted the border on the quilt to also have that scrapbook look. That took a little bit of extra time, and I decided later, I don't know, if I want to make this as a pattern, I would probably leave that out because it's just more work to add a certain amount here and then have that angle. So I wouldn't suggest that if you're just starting out making a house quilt. I do have another house quilt or two that I want to show you, and we're going to see that one in just a sec. Here is another house quilt. This quilt is called My Happy Home Tour, and you'll notice it's very similar to the one that we just saw. However, there's a few differences. One of the main ones is the fabrics in the quilt. We've got some big, bold, I think K-facet kind of fabrics in there, lots of color. I did use the scrapbook deal, same on these outer parts of each house. I think I kept the same blocks in between. I may have added an extra border here because I wanted this stripe in. But notice the outside border, I no longer have this business here with the diagonal lines. Because I thought after I made this, I wanted to put it together and have it be a pattern. And so it ended up being Happy Home Tour. And this was done in 2010. So it's one of my older patterns, but there's a lot to it, a lot of directions, I guess you'd say. I really liked it. I liked the fact that I could use this stripe again. I think stripes and, well, I guess my own personal preference is the more color the better. A lot of contrast in your colors help make make any quilt better. And I personally just like stripes every once in a while. I had this quilt as a pattern and I really liked it, and then I just couldn't get enough of it, so I decided I would make a smaller wall quilt. And it's up on my wall. Now this is called Happy Houses. And I made it 2 years after I made the Happy Home Tour quilt. Same, as you can see, same type of pattern, same house. I just wanted to see what would happen using blacks and whites, big dots, and this time I put some big buttons in there just for decoration. I think it's fun to add some interesting quilting. So this one I quilted myself. The bigger quilts I have a long arm quilter do, but for these smaller ones I do myself. And so I quilted some zigzags in the roofs of the houses, and I just had a lot of fun with that one. So you would think that that would be enough houses, and yet just a couple of years ago, here was the block of the month for 2021, I believe. This is called, I forget what this was called. But in these houses, I took out the center where the windows were and put in different, a 4-inch square of different things. This is called On Presto Avenue, and it's available now on my website, but only as a downloadable pattern. It's got lots of, each one of these blocks has a lot of choices that you can fill in your houses with. So I think I should probably be done with houses, but I thought I would show them to you because there are so many ways that you can do houses, and you can change them around and have a lot of fun with making houses or making quilts with houses.
Hey there, sailor. Would you like to visit my little playtime house? Oh, look. That's me looking out the window, waiting for you to come in.
Did you hit the thing there? Are you recording yourself? Yes?
I'm recording you.
Okay. I almost forgot. I have another house or two. Right now I am in my sewing room, my happy place, where my 12x12s and other quilts are. I have another house that I made for a 12x12, but you have to look up towards the ceiling where my 12x12s are. This is another house quilt. Notice, same house style, same idea, only there's a picture of me in the house. This quilt was for a theme called Playtime. And so I'm in this house, I think, playing around in my sewing room. So that's another, notice, same type of house pattern. I seem to really like that one. I have one more. Then finally, I think my final house is another 12x12. It's right here. The theme for this one was home, and the name of this is Home Sweet Home. Now this is a little bit different house. I needed a bigger house, so I didn't want the same exact house pattern. I drew this one up so that I would have a nice big picture window here. And in the picture window is our family on Christmas Eve. And we get together on Christmas Eve, and there's a lot of us, and that for me is just the best. Home sweet home. And notice I have some little angels up here. These are for people in our family who used to live in this house, and they don't anymore, but they're little angels watching over us in my home sweet home. So that should be the very last one of my houses quilts. But I think there's a long way to go, or a lot you can do with houses in quilts.